previous video, we have seen in the chapter a house, not a home, that how the little boy, his house got fire and the cat was lost and everything was lost, everything was burnt and he was very scared and they had to awaken their house. So everything was going in the life of that boy, and the narrator or narrator, he was in a very bad state. So as one could imagine, losing your house, losing your pet, such a age, everything was very brutal for him. He was very very sad, and he was uh, he was on the verge of being shattered. So what happened after this? The next day, Monday, I went to school. When the fire broke out, I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. So what he did, the next day, the next Monday, he went to school. When the fire broke out, he was wearing the dress he had worn to the church. He went to the church and there was no shoes, so everything was burnt. He didn't had his school uniform. I had kicked them off when I was doing my homework. They became yet another casualty of the fire. So the shoes he was wearing, he had kicked them out, and they were also another casualty, another victim of the fire. So I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. He borrowed some tennis shoes, some sports kind of shoes from his aunt. Why couldn't I just stay home from school? He is asking that, why couldn't I just stay home? I have been too much, and why I have to go to school? My mother wouldn't hear of it, but I was totally embarrassed by everything. So he was pleading his mother that let him be at home, but the mother was not listening to him. The mother was not strict, she was not uh, into sending the boy to home, but the mother was very what do we say, she was very caring that if the boy will be at home, he will have the thoughts of the fire and everything. If he will go to the school, his mood will change. He was very embarrassed by everything, that he has lost his house, he has lost his dress, he has lost his pet. And one thing you remember, that the boy had a new school, a new change in his life was there, that he was going to a new school from the elementary school to the high school he was going, and this change was there in his life. So he was feeling very devastated. He was feeling that every wrong thing and happening is happening to him alone. The clothes I was wearing looked weird. I had no books or homework, and my backpack was gone. I had my life in that backpack. The more I tried to fit in, the worse I got. So he lost everything. The clothes, the cat, the backpack, everything. Was I destined to be an outcast and a geek all my life? Outcast means someone who doesn't relate to any group, who is a very isolated kind of a person. And a geek means a very serious, a very studious kind of a person who doesn't enjoy his life much. That's what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or I have to handle life. So he didn't want to grow up or change anything. He wanted to enjoy his life just. I just wanted to. Okay, so I walked around the school like a zombie. He just wanted to curl up and die. Okay, so see how the mood of the boy was. He was feeling very depressed. He walked around the school like a zombie. Everything left surreal. I walked around school like a zombie. This means zombie. You must have seen a lot of movies. Zombie means someone who doesn't has life but still is walking and still is um, into the world. But everything felt surreal, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Surreal means of bad taste. Nothing was happening. All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, and my cat had all been ripped away. So, all the security means all the everyone requires that feel that my friend is there, my house is there, my family is there, my pet is there. So, okay, so that you feel like you belong here. So, that sense of belongingness was missing. When I walked through what used to be my house after school that day, I was shocked to see how much damage there was. So, when he walked around his old house, he saw that how much damage was there. Whatever hadn't burned was destroyed by the water and the chemicals they had used to put out the fire. So, whatever was unburned, it was it got bad because of the chemicals and the water. The only material things not destroyed were the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items. So only the photo albums and the documents were remaining that his mother managed. How? Because she went inside the fire and she got the things. But my cat was gone and my heart ached for her. But his cat was gone and his heart was aching. He was feeling very sad. There was no time to grieve, there was no time to mourn. My mother rushed me out of the house. We would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go buy some clothes for school. We had to borrow money, okay, from my grandparents because there were no credit cards, cash, or even identification to be able to withdraw money. That week, that rubble that used to be our house was being cleared off the lot. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I would go over to watch them clear away debris. So, even though they got an apartment and they borrow some money from the grandparents, he was going again and again to the debris, the left over things of the house, hoping that my cat would be there. He was still wanting that somehow he can get back his cat. She was gone. I kept thinking about her as that vulnerable little kitten. So she was gone, and he was only had that thought that where my cat would be. In the early morning, when I was okay, in the early morning, when I would disturb her and get out of bed, she would tag along after me, climb up my robe, and crawl into my pocket to fall asleep. I was missing her terribly. So, the cat, what they do, they live with you, they sit with you, they sleep with you, they curl around with you. So, all this thing was being missed by the boy. It always seems that bad news spreads quickly, and in my case, it was no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, was aware of my plight. I was embarrassed as if somehow I were responsible. Sorry. What a way to start off at a new school. This was not the kind of attention I was looking for. So he was very embarrassed. He was feeling that this was not what I wanted to be like. The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. People were milling around me, asking me to hurry up. I thought it's strange, but in the light of past few weeks, nothing would surprise me. It almost seems that they were trying to shove me into the gym. Then I saw why. Okay, so everyone was trying to force him to go to the gym, and he was feeling terrible for it. But when he went inside, what he saw, that it almost seemed that they were showing him, and then he saw that there was a big table set up with all kinds of stuff on it just for me. They'd taken up a collection and bought me school supplies, notebooks, all kind of different clothes, jeans, tops, sweatsuits. It was like Christmas. So there were lot of gifts, there were lot of presents. I was overcome by emotion. People who had never spoken to me before were coming up to me to introduce themselves. So what happened after this incident? Everyone tried to came tried to come to the boy. I got all kinds of invitations to the houses. So he got the invitations to the houses. The genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. So this happened that he was touched by their emotions. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. I made friends that day. So what happened, because of all these people, he was feeling a little bit relaxed, that he was touched that so many people care about me, and he made friends. A month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it. So after a month, the house was being reconstructed, and but this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends from school. See how things change. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity and open up to all the wonderful people around me. So the fire did a good thing, that he was open to all, and he was a changed person. Now I was sitting there watching my house being rebuilt when I realized my life was doing the same thing. While we sat there on the curb planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up from me behind and say, "Does this belong to you?" So while they were sitting there, they were planning for his bedroom, how it would look. Someone came from behind and asked that, "Does it belong to you?" When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. So when he turned around to see that who really it was, he couldn't believe his eyes, that what he was seeing. A woman was standing there holding my cat. So a woman was there who was holding his cat. I leapt up. I leapt up means he took a leap and grabbed her out of the woman's arms. So he was very fast and furious, and he took the cat from the arms of that woman. I held her close to me and cried into that beautiful orange fur. Sorry. So he took that cat close to him and cried and took that beautiful orange fur to him. She purred happily. Okay, like the cat does. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me, hugging the cat, and jumping around. So all the friends were really excited. They were hugging him, they were hugging the cat, and they were jumping around. Apparently, my cat, had been so freaked by the fire that she ran over a mile away. So, because of the fire, the little poor creature was so afraid that it ran across to the place over a mile. Her collar had a phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. Okay, many people do this. They put the numbers on the pet's collar, and but the phones were not available. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. So, this woman, she worked really well and tried to find out whose cat it was. Somehow, she knew this cat was loved and sorely missed. The woman knew that this cat was someone else's, and she was being missed by someone. As I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap, so when he sat there and with his friends and the cat curled up on his lap, all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to be diminished. So he was having friends and he was seeing his house being rebuilt, but he was missing the cat. Now he had his cat back. So now he was feeling very nice, and all the feelings, all the terrible feelings were diminishing at the same time. I felt gratitude for my life. He felt very great that he has been given us very nice friends, a very good home, loving mom, caring grandparents, such a such a cute cat. So he was feeling very humble, and my new and the kindness of a stranger and the loud purr of my beloved cat. So the strangers kindness, the woman's kindness who brought the cat back, everything was making him feel very nice. My cat was back, and so was I. This line is very beautiful. My cat was back, and so was I. Here, the narrator is saying, I was also back. I was also back to life. So, this is what we have to do. We have to feel very positive. See, bad things happen, but eventually, what happens? There is always a hidden good in every bad. So, it happened, he lost everything, then he found everything in a different way. He found new friends, he found different clothes, he found his cat back. So everything eventually got better. This story is written by Jen Godioso, and I hope that you have enjoyed the lecture. This story was very beautiful. You have to learn positivity out of it, and watch the lecture very carefully, complete the work that I've assigned you, and we will meet again soon in the next video. You were watching PTO classes. I am Aman from DPS Haldwani Lamachor. Thank you so much for watching the lecture.